Hey, are you looking for inner peace? Well, today, good thing you're here. Today we are going to work on how to find inner peace. And in fact, I'm going to talk about two different kinds of inner peace. I think the one that you're looking for, which I think of as true inner peace, is really what we want to emphasize. So come learn about peace, learn about how you can create peace in your life. Hi, I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and welcome back. Welcome back to My 5 Minds. Now, in our broadcasts of My 5 Minds, we've talked a lot about a new psychology called systems. Systems with a P. And that was basically thinking about how to get all these different 5 parts of your mind working together collectively. Well, I'm starting to play with a new idea, and it's called yoga psych, the psychology of yoga. And the reason why I'm playing with this is because it not only includes what we're doing with systems, but it also brings some new key elements, some new stories, new ways of seeing ourselves and seeing our world that I think are really essential. So in this video, in talking about inner peace, I thought it was really super appropriate to help kind of draw some distinctions between what we see as traditional psychology and maybe make some distinction with a new psychology, yoga psychology. So let's play. Now, when we think of peace, most of us just think of peace. Peace is peace, right? Peace out. Well, actually, I want you to think about 2 different kinds of peace. One, I want you to think about 2 warring countries battling it out, and they declare an armistice. They say, okay, we're not going to fight. And they create a certain peace because they're disengaging in this battle. That's one kind of peace. But what if these 2 countries started to work together, come together, help each other? That is a completely different kind of peace. And that is the kind of peace that I think you and I are looking for when we say, hey, I want to create more inner peace. Now, the reason why I want to distinguish those 2 is because we're always trying to create the first one, but what, as I said a moment ago, what we really want is the second one. And the way we create the second one is completely different than the way we create the first one. Now, I know that's kind of a mind blower right there, right? 2 different kinds of peace, but it makes sense, right? So the way we're going to help you distinguish how these 2 different pieces fit together. Pieces fit together, you like that? Okay, sorry. The way we're going to talk about how these different kinds of peace are formed is we're going to look at emotions. One of my favorite topics, right? And it's really a key topic in yoga psychology. In yoga, all forms of yoga, the central focus, the number one thing that you're always looking at in yoga is energy. All of yogas, every yoga you can think of is about how to control your energy, how to understand it, how to feel it, how to move it, how to bring it into more of a balance. But in psychology, that's not our focus. Our focus is thoughts. We want to always learn to control our thoughts because in traditional psychology, we think thoughts are the bomb. We think thoughts run everything. Well, the reason I'm liking this new yoga psychology is because that traditional psychology is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. The mind, the thinking brain, does not run everything. And if we put all our emphasis on that, we're really not going to create the peace we want. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The other day, I get up and I'm feeling kind of agitated. As you know, me and my nervous system, that's not unusual. I'm a stress cadet. Well, part of my dailies now is to meditate, and I've really loved it. I've meditated many times before in my life, but I'm back. I'm back on my daily routine, and it feels great. So I go upstairs into the meditation hall. I'll take you there one day. But I go upstairs in the meditation hall, and I sit down, and I begin to breathe, and I begin to relax, and I begin to calm. And I notice that calming produces, a certain level of peace. But I could also notice, as I was meditating, my thoughts were all over the place. My thoughts were chattering away. In meditation terms, we call that monkey mind. Because up in the trees, the Buddhist monks, would hear all the monkeys chatter, chatter, chatter. And that's kind of what the experience was when you're meditating. You could feel and hear your brain chatter, 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 chatter. So there's a certain amount of relaxation or calmness, peace that happens as you relax your body. But it wasn't really that fulfilling, that deep, because of the chatter going on in my head. So there's a second kind of peace. And the second kind of peace is what I was after in that day, was to get my mind to focus, to get my mind to quiet. To do that, I had to shift my energy in a completely different way. Now, let me back up and tell you what that means, because that probably makes no sense to you at all. How do you shift your energy? Whatever. Well, okay, let's back up all the way. Let's think of what are emotions. And hopefully you can see and feel that emotions, peace is an emotion. Peace is the emotion we're after, right? But what is it? What is that feeling of peace? Well, forever I've contended that emotions are energy. They're bioelectrical signals produced by your brain, your limbic system in particular, sent down through your central nervous system to activate your body, right? That's what emotions are. Anger, love, hurt, sorrow, fear. Name the emotion, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. Emotions are energy. Energy transmitted through your brain, down your nervous system to your body, right? Now, energy has two qualities to it. This sounds a little technical, but hang with me. I will try not to mansplain too much. All right. So energy has two qualities to it. One quality that energy has is amplitude. Amplitude is how intense the signals are in terms of the energy intensity. But the other kind of energy that isn't a wave or a signal is frequency. Frequency is electrical charge, a signal, a wave, has these waves in them. How high they are is amplitude. How fast they are is frequency. So if the waves are happening really super fast, what we get is a really tight frequency, high frequency waves. Guess what? When you're anxious, when you're feeling anxiety, those waves in your brain, we can register them, we can watch them. They're running about 28 hertz. They're in what we call the beta band, the high betas. And that's a clear signal that you're in anxiety because you have these tight waves flooding through your brain. Like the sound effect? Now, when you're relaxed though, the wave changes. Not only does it change in amplitude, but it changes in frequency. And the waves, instead of being really tight together, they start to stretch. Now, inside of me, I can't really feel the waves changing, stretching, or collapsing, but the frequency of it, but I can feel it in terms of this sense of collapse and flow. I can feel that. When the waves are tight, when the waves are high frequency, my body tends to respond by becoming tense. And when the waves, the frequency stretches out and expands, my body tends to respond with relaxation, or what I call flow. Now, again, this is important for two reasons. One, amplitude is what we focus on traditionally in psychology. We want to quiet your environment. We want to quiet you. We want to quiet your circumstances so you can relax. Now, we can do that in a couple different ways. We can de-stimulate the environment around you, or we can de-stimulate you. We can give you medication, or you can drink alcohol. You can do all kinds of things, both legal and illegal, to decrease your own internal stimulation. But here's the key point. This is it, right here. Ready? That's not going to give you peace. Peace, true peace, happens as your frequency changes. Medication ain't going to change that. Medication won't change the amount, the frequency of the waves. As your brain waves moves from 38 hertz, anxiety, high beta, as we talk about it, and then moves into alpha, then into theta, and then into delta, I'll get it right, your brain waves stretch. And you become more and more calm because the frequency changes. Now, what does that? That's the key, right? That's the key that's going to make you feel inner peace. The name of the game, inner peace, right? It's not just de-stimulating you. It's not you taking anti-anxiety medications. It's not you drinking or smoking pot. That's not going to create true inner peace. You know that. What's going to create true inner peace for you is changing the frequency, creating more flow in your energy. Now, you're asking, what does that? Well, what creates flow in your energy is getting more and more of your brain online. The more your brain is all the 5 different parts we've talked about in the 5 minds, the left neocortex, right neocortex, limbic system, brain stem, and the conscious mind, the more we get all of those coming online together, that's when our frequency of our brain waves begins to drop. So here's a practical example of that. I'm in the meditation. I'm noticing my chattery brain. I'm noticing all this noise up in the top of my head. I'm worried about this, thinking about that. Even though I'm calm and relaxed physically, my brain is still spinning. Well, I want to start bringing my brain online with all the other different parts of my brain. So I say to myself, I'm just going to listen to that. I'm going to listen to that chatter. I'm going to stand back for a minute and observe it. Now that's a key element right there. When you stop being your brain and you start observing your brain, you've moved from prefrontal cortex to conscious mind. And as you move into conscious mind, the brain begins to slow right there. The frequencies begin to what we call synchronize. The different parts of your brain begins to synchronize in frequencies. I begin to just notice, okay, let's just hear what that has to say. Okay, let's worry about this, let's worry about that. That's interesting. Okay, no judgment. Then I allow myself to begin to bring in my right neocortex, and I begin to focus on, I wonder if I can imagine what all those busy thoughts look like. And I put them up on a big jumbo screen, big jumbotron, and there's all these thoughts just flashing up images on this big jumbotron. And I'm sitting back, way back in the audience, and just watching all that chaos. Okay. Now I wonder what would happen if I could actually hear it. I begin to imagine standing back and hearing it as if it's coming out of the speakers of this big jumbotron. And then I say, well, I wonder if I could feel it. I wonder, you know how you're in a concert and you could feel the vibrations of a band, the speakers pumping through you. I think I could feel the kind of the chaotic energy coming off of those loudspeakers. Okay? Now, I've brought in my visual cortex. There I've brought in my limbic system. I'm feeling it. They're bringing in my brain stem by kind of allowing my nervous system to resonate with the thoughts. And as I do all that, I begin to feel a true inner peace. I begin to feel my brain really is slowing down. And in fact, it's almost hard to keep the Jumbotron going. It's slowing down so much, it's quieting down. And so I just let it. I begin to breathe and visualize, turning down the screen, turning down the colors, turning down the intensity, turning down the volume, turning down the vibrations. And as I turn everything down, my brain becomes quieter and quieter. And I start to achieve in my meditation, in my relaxation, that true sense of peace that I'm looking for. And that's what I want to help you find. It's not in destimulating your world. It's in getting your brain and engaging your brain more fully and wholly in everything that you do. Now, today I'm presenting the idea on how to do that. I want to present more with you, work more with you to create that inner peace by giving you some more specific exercises and specific meditations. You can try the one I just described to you, but I want to give you more as well because it does take practice. That's the key part of yoga psychology, is it is a practice. It's not a flippant idea. It's a real practice that you got to apply. Now, I hope that was useful for you. And if you like the video, like it. Give me some feedback about yoga psychology. Let me hear what you're thinking. Again, I'm Brett with My 5 Minds. And you learning a little bit about yoga psychology.